listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Where'd the old town go? They moved it all north of here in a shopping mall.
Good morning and welcome to Old Town Cleveland here on WOOP FM 99.9, or go to the internet at www.woopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553. Gonna have an exciting show here today. My lovely co-host, it is not a requirement, it is a privilege to say so. Debbie Moore, introduce our great show today.
I never know what he's going to say. Good morning, everyone.
I don't know what I'm ever going to say either.
We have Joel and Stan Beaver with us today.
Howdy.
Yeah, and
another one.
We're going to have some good live music here today, and we're going to have a good time talking about music and musicians. And so if you have someone that you know that would love that show, be sure to call them and tell them to tune in here to Old Town Cleveland this morning.
Anything going on today?
Oh, let's get some of that out of the way.
Yeah.
First of all, we got a call from our good friend Ed that's selling fresh produce.
No, you don't have maters yet, do you?
Well, I think he's got maters. He's got lettuce. He's got most everything this morning. He's down at Peerless Road at the Farmers Market. He's there on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. Go out and see him. That's Mr. Ed. Calls in all the time here on Old Town Cleveland. We're going to show the documentary again tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and this time it's going to be at the First Baptist Church in Benton. You pass the red light, the Sonic, and turn right, and it's the first road on the left. And it's a free showing. We'd love to have our friends to join us up there to see the documentary tomorrow. Congratulations to our friends in Charleston, the Charleston Calhoun Hiwassee Historical Society. Made a dream come true yesterday. They had a ribbon cutting for the Heritage Center up in Charleston. That's going to be a place for tourists to stop and pick up brochures and information about all the historical stuff in this area. And they wanted everybody to know that that's phase one. And they're on a roll in Charleston promoting and preserving history, and we congratulate them. Fro's playing tonight at B&B Marina.
That's always fun.
I don't know what I know where it's at.
It's over by the lake.
It's over by the lake. 8 p.m. to 12, rain or shine, it's covered. Go on out and see the convertibles at B&B Marina tonight. Fish truck's coming June 1st.
Yeah, now we're getting important stuff.
Yeah, fish truck's coming June 1st. If you want to order some fish for your pond, 478-2405. The Museum Center is having their Rags to Riches sale. I understand everything's half price this morning. The sale's already open and going. And it's not at the Museum Center. It's at the corner of Church and 1st Street inside. So be sure to come out and support the museum and pick you up some good stuff. And we would like to acknowledge the passing of one of our best guests here on Old Town Cleveland, one of our favorite guests, and that's Mr. Carl Green. And he would have been 91 this week, and our sympathies go out to his family, but he could tell you a story or two, and we always enjoyed having Mr. Carl on the show.
My favorite story was Carl said he played football at Bradley High School. I said, who was your coach? And he said, Jimmy Lovell, which... You know, I'd never met anybody that actually played for Jimmy Lovell. I'd heard his name, but...
so our sympathies are extended to Doe and his family. Of course, everybody knows that was Doe's father, stepfather.
Right.
And so our sympathies go out to them. And, of course, we're still looking for racing items, too. If anybody's got 8mm film, videos, trophies, stories, any of that, you need to contact us and let us get you recorded for that documentary.
Now, Deb, what you didn't mention just a minute ago was that we have Joel here, and Joel's a good guy, but we have the legendary, the famous,
The infamous.
there you are. A member of the Rockabilly Hall of Fame, Stan Beaver. It is so great to have you here. And
Thank you.
Of course, I've never, I don't think you and I've ever met.
I don't remember.
We've had to cross paths somewhere along the way, but and then your dad was also a musician, and your dad and my dad played together some back in the years. So, before we do anything, before we talk to you, you want to play a song?
Okay. What you want to hear?
You're the expert. Play us something. Joel's going to play a little guitar, and Stan's going to play a little, and sing some, or
kick it off.
We rock it.
Yeah.
Count off. You know how fast you like to do it, so
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a rocket in my pocket, and I'm heading for the moon. I was standing on the launching pad, waiting for the blast. When they finished with the countdown, boy, I took off fast. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a rocket in my pocket, and I'm heading for the moon. When we took off through the air like a satellite, I passed that Sputnik out in space, then went out of sight. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a rocket in my pocket, and I'm heading for the moon. Go ahead and pick it there, boy. While he's busy picking, I'll tell you that he's my band and my backup singers. I radioed Canaveral, everything was A-OK. I'm gonna beat the Russians to the moon. I passed them yesterday. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a rocket in my pocket, and I'm heading for the moon. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a rocket in my pocket. I got a rocket in my pocket, and I'm heading for the moon.
all right.
Woo! John Cook's on the internet, and he says he's got Snickers in his pocket. John, there's a new there's a new song for you,
And
John. Just write her up.
I've got a video to prove that too.
That was great, guys. That's
Stan,
fun.
who wrote that song?
Myself and my dad.
Okay, great.
Mostly him, because I was a little kid in those days. But
Now, when did you record that song? What year was it?
recorded in 1963.
63, and it was on which label?
It was first on Cash Records, which was Clyde Beaver's label. And then later on it was reissued on Pedal Records.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those singles, and then since then it's been on 2 or 3, various artist albums and whatever around the world.
Now, Clyde Beaver's out of Tinga, Georgia.
Yeah, that's
Now,
it.
he's not really. He's Beavers, and you're just Beaver.
Correct.
Yeah, you're not Justin though. Well, that's
not
Beaver.
yet.
That's Beaver. Okay.
I'm just in time,
Just
just in case.
again. Stan, what's the biggest show you think you've ever played?
Depends. I was on the bill one time with a group called the Duprees and several other groups in Mobile, Alabama, once upon a time, which was a lot of fun. And as far as TV, I was on. I don't know if anybody around here would know it, but the The show was the Buddy Dean Show in Baltimore, and what's the name of that movie that
Say what?
Hairspray or what?
Oh yeah, Hairspray.
The movie Hairspray was loosely based on Buddy Dean and the situations in Baltimore in those days. Of course, they didn't call me and wouldn't let me be in no movie. But
Now, didn't you work on Lights Went Out in Georgia or
I was
something?
on that. Yep, and I was an extra in Elvis. It was
Kirk Russell one?
Kurt Russell. Yep.
Yeah.
And there was another little known movie called I'll think of it in a minute.
It's little known.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I'll think of it eventually and let you know. But anyway, but it was that's 3 movies I was involved in some way or other over the years.
Yep. What brought you to Cleveland, and what's kept you around this area?
Greyhound? No.
Graham brought him, dropped him off.
Speaking of movies, Joel was in a movie recently. He was in 42.
Oh, what?
What'd you do in 42, Joel?
I sat there and in the suit.
My son was the big red-headed kid on crutches that probably checked you in.
Really?
Yeah, he worked on there. He was
He broke his foot the first day.
Really?
the first day on set.
Yes.
So, but and he also got to be on Nashville, the new TV series.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is good.
He filmed for 12 hours, and I think his part was 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
He was the stage guy that you could see walking. You could see his feet going by as the people were, doing their lines.
Yeah. Well, I was down there. I was down there at Ingle Stadium for about 2.5 weeks, and I think I finally, if I watched close, I could see myself like a little bitty speck 2 or 3 times. But that's
Well, it looked like to me when I watched the movie that they'd even blurred people out.
yeah.
But isn't that funny?
Well, I could clearly see myself.
I think it's an excellent movie.
Yeah.
And it's well worth everyone seeing.
I think Gary Miller, a guy I graduated high school, about the same time, he played one of the umpires and actually got a credit, and met another guy who was one of the reporters who made the poster.
Really?
Wow.
He was so excited. He
And-
said, I
and
made
then,
He had actually been a newspaper guy that did
Yeah.
sports or something. So he kind of had the right background, but they put him in some vintage hot suit.
Oh yeah.
That's what he was.
Well, they had us all in like period suits and everything. I mean, they had us try to accurate down to like the undershirts
Yeah.
and everything, and it was
They
pretty
said, well,
hot.
And then you had to wear the same outfit day after day
Oh,
after
yeah.
day, which I don't think a lot of
after
people.
2
And,
weeks, you don't want to be
well,
around.
like you say that after we were lucky if they washed it every 3-4 days on there. So after a couple days in it was pretty.
That's what everybody
Yeah.
said. Lewis Lee from down in used to be with Channel 12 and one of the radio stations down there. He sat right behind the Jackie Robinson's wife character, so you actually get
Oh,
to
yeah.
see him.
Oh, I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
he's right
I'll have
behind
to.
us.
I have to watch for that.
So what brought you here?
Long story. Mainly, my dad. We had first moved up to Pigeon Forge. We had a museum up there, Civil War Museum, which was some of my dad's stuff. And unfortunately, it didn't do too well. So at the end of that season, we moved down here, and he went to work at radio as usual. Oh, there's another thing about radio. My dad was the first sales manager at WFLI Radio when they came on in 1960 or thereabouts.
Wow.
And later, he was the first sales manager at WFLI TV when they came on the air down here in 81 or whatever it was. So he has quite a history with WFLI.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's your dad's name?
Leon
Yeah.
Beaver. Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
he was
very interesting. So now in the Civil War Museum, let's go back to that. What year would that have been?
79.
79. And where was it?
It was in a little village called the Log Cabin Shops in Pigeon Forge. It's not there anymore.
Okay, I
It's
started saying.
tore it down. But the biggest claim to fame in that was that she was pretty famous at the time. Jeannie C. Riley was also involved in that, and we used her name as Jeannie C. Riley Presents the Old Smoky Civil War Museum.
There you go. And what happened to his museum stuff?
He sold it.
He sold it, okay.
There's some stuff he had too. I wish he hadn't, but
Yeah, especially some of the older collectors that back in the time where you could just go places and pick stuff up.
Yeah.
And I mean, pick it up off the ground. They had some fascinating things,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I've seen tree trunks that they had sawed down in the 50s that had cannonballs in it and stuff, and stuff like that. Some of the older collectors really had some neat stuff.
The one thing he had that I always wanted, and he, like I say, when he sold it, he had to sell the whole collection.
Yes,
of
the
it
whole
and buy it.
lot.
It was called a Confederate hand cannon,
Uh-huh.
and it was about this long and a barrel about that big around.
Would you have shot it for anything?
No. Well, to tell you, even the people who made it, because they were like one-offs. I think there was 3 made altogether. Wow. But they, the trigger on there, they had drilled a little hole in the back of the trigger guard so they could tie a string around it and go way back there, tie it down and fire it off.
What-
What's that
you-
double
you
barrel?
You let the private hold it, and you got behind him and pulled the string.
What was that double barrel thing we had?
I got double barrel Derringer, 4440 double barrel Derringer. I wouldn't shoot it.
The shells look like a 410 shotgun shell. There's no way I'd hold that in my hand and
It was
shoot
about
it.
that- It was about
And
4
it's got
and
a
5.
4-inch barrel on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We said there's a design problem here, but it sure is interesting looking. No way.
What got you into music? I know your dad played.
Yeah, that was the main thing. It's just when I came along, he was already a musician, and so
That was before video games, and you were sitting in the living room and on the front porch picking.
pretty much. Of course, I didn't, believe it or not, I didn't really start playing until I was about 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He always wanted me to play. He'd buy me guitars, and I'd take them, tear them up, And one day, out of the clear blue, my mama, bless her heart, my mama said, "I'm going to teach you a song." Okay. And she, rocking alone in an old rocking chair, I saw an old mother with silvery hair. She seemed so neglected as I saw her there, rocking alone in an old rocking chair. She taught me that song and how to play it, and I started from that. You'd think too that my dad, being the musician, whatever, that it would come from him, but she was the one that taught me that song and taught me how to play it. And that's what started it all.
So was Leon's family musical, or would?
There's not that many professionals. They were, most all played, I think. He had a brother named Paris France Beaver, also mainly known as Pete.
Paris, France, Beaver.
Yeah. And Pete was also a singer and guitar picker and whatever, but
Now, is your dad still with us?
no, he passed away in 99,
Okay. And what year was he born?
1921, I believe. And then my mom died about 4 years ago. So
Now, Joel, how'd you get into music? Your daddy, did he whip you into it, or did?
I was beat him into it.
Yeah.
See this strap here? I used to use it. Hey, boy, play.
Well, I'd always kind of banged around on stuff. I started off as a drummer, but
And that just broke
Yeah.
your daddy's
Well-
heart.
well, they wouldn't even buy me drums for the longest time because they just
Yeah, I didn't want the racket.
So,
I
so,
Yeah.
so I just banged on all the pots and pans around everything. But it's funny he mentioned about my granny teaching him that because they got me guitars and stuff too. And she was actually the one that first taught me my first chord.
Oh, really?
And it
See, I learned something every day.
aggravated you because it wasn't like a real chord.
Oh, it was one of these.
Because I play it like that because she had like arthritis and couldn't play any more chords like that by the time we did it. So she taught me how to play little G chords like that. And I played a little church thing like that one time, and Dad freaked out. I was like, oh God, that's But I mean, I was still playing it, but it just wasn't
It was one of these where you play. Like that.
But after that, then he took me aside and taught me more stuff than that. And
Now, tell them what kind of guitar you're playing there for.
this is
guitar freaks out here.
This here is a 1959 Fender Telecaster.
Is it that old? You need to get you a new guitar, boy.
I offered him $100 for it when he
Yeah.
first came in.
Now, which one of you is left-handed?
He is.
Okay, you're left-handed.
Going the wrong way.
That
Yeah. Well, see, everything looks the wrong way to me.
Yeah.
I can barely turn on the radio.
So, tell us about how many recordings did you make in those early days?
Oh, over the years, I don't know. I made a lot. I Got a Rocket in My Pocket was the first main record, 1963, and that was the one that helped get me in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
But I've made other records over the years.
Let's see who's on that.
Good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
How y'all doing this morning?
We're doing great.
Good. Who are we talking to?
This is Country Boy Produce. How are y'all?
Hey, country boy, go ahead and tell. You got some maters today?
Yeah, I'm at the flea market on South Lee Highway.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I've got some yellow squash almost straight out of the garden, if you know what I mean. Cucumbers, I got bell pepper, I got oranges, I got honeydews, watermelon, strawberries. Come on down, check it out. They got some stuff inside, too, if you like that kind of flea market stuff, you know what I mean? Yard sales.
Now, let me ask you a question. What do you mean it's almost out of the garden?
Almost out of the garden. I mean, it had to be cleaned up. It still don't have any dirt on it, you know what I mean?
Okay.
If it's got dirt on it, don't want to sell, even though if you say it's homegrown. They say, well, that's homegrown, all right, if it's still got dirt on it.
Ron thought you had grown it at the nuclear plant or something.
No.
They'll make it grow real fast.
Yeah.
Here, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, thanks, country boy. Hope everybody comes see you down at the flea market on South Lee Highway. Bye-bye.
On South Lee Highway. Yes,
Bye.
ma'am. Bye-bye.
There's all kind of flea market people out today. You know, that's the US 11 flea market thing.
Everybody-
This week?
Yeah. Oh,
Everybody's
yeah.
sitting out on the side of the road with their junk.
With their
Don't
tarp.
tell my wife. She'll go.
Oh, he's going to spend you money, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Good morning, Ron Deb. How you doing?
Hey, Robert.
Bullet,
how you
what's
doing?
up?
I got a little story I want to share with you.
Go ahead.
I was watching a Cops movie back in, it was a while back, and there was a guy standing on the corner, and he sang the song, I Got a Rock in My Pocket.
Somebody told me that. Was that the same song I sang a while ago?
No, yours is Rocket, isn't it? Or is it
Rocket, yeah.
But this was a rock.
Oh,
I got a
okay.
rock in my pocket.
Somebody told me that somebody was on one of those shows one time and sang that, but it was my song, and I wanted to find out ever since, but I never could find out.
Well, it was on the movie Cops, and
Yeah.
he was standing on the corner in Nashville singing. He sang a song, I Got a Rock in My Pocket.
He may have
Well,
been too drunk to say rock
Right
in.
there you go. Well, River Fox is on the computer this morning. He said he's got a hole in his pocket.
I want to ask your guests. They don't know the song "Sweet Caroline," do they?
I know it, but not well enough to play it and sing it.
Again begin.
Well, maybe he can. He's like that. But anyway.
Well, I'm enjoying your show.
Thank you. We'll play you something here in a minute.
Appreciate it.
So,
Now, where was your dad from? Wait a minute. I had a thought. Where was your dad from? Where was he born?
Ducktown.
Ducktown.
all right. That's a big place. Good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Hello, enjoying your show. Always enjoy
Hey, Neil.
shows. Howdy. I'm sure Mr. Beavers is aware of it, but his song was also in the movie The Right Stuff.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am. I absolutely sure it.
Did you get a check for that one,
No,
Stan?
I didn't. I didn't know about that one. I'll have to
Yes, sir.
look that up.
It's in the scene where Astronaut Gordon is moving his family to the desert airfield, and they're going down the highway, and it's either a 53 or 54 Chevrolet convertible, and they have the radio on, and it's played over the radio.
Well,
Certainly,
Is it the same one? I know there the couple
Well,
different songs.
Joel will have to listen to it to see if it's the exact same one, but that's pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure.
it sounds like the same song to me.
Okay. Were you in that convertible, Stan?
I would like to have been, but no.
But your royalty check didn't come from that.
No.
Thanks, Neil.
Okay. Also, before I go, I'm sorry to hear about Mr. Green. I certainly enjoyed the programs that you had him on, and I became just a casual acquaintance of his. I'd see him up the old fort and would talk to he and his wife, and just an absolute super fine person. Like I say, a casual acquaintance. I can't say that I really knew him, but some people, you don't have to be around too much or too long to know what they are.
We really enjoyed the first time he was on the show. He had just had kidney surgery or something, and Doe went to pick him up, and he was already here.
Yeah.
He was almost 90 years old.
Wow.
He just drove himself. He wasn't going to wait on anybody to go pick him up. But he was fine, and I learned so much from him.
Oh yeah, the couple of shows you had him on, I hung on every word. He knew some stuff. Okay, I'm enjoying.
All righty.
All right.
All right, play us another song, guys. What do you want to do?
If I can remember what key now, it's been a while since I played whatever. But there was a song that my dad recorded, and one reason why I thought I'd try to sing a little of it is because he recorded it right down here at the Church of God of Prophecy studio in 1958.
All right.
If I can remember it now, I'll try to sing a little bit. It's too high. Darling, if you're ever lonely and you want someone to care, just call me, darling, I will. And if your heart is aching and you need someone to share, just call me, darling, I will. No matter what the world may say about you, your name will always give my heart a thrill. If you're tired and want a love to last a lifetime, just call me, darling, mine will.
Very nice.
Oh, great.
Thank you. I enjoyed that. Very good. Very good.
So, how many millions of dollars did you make off the Rocket in My Pocket?
I don't get none of them Jed Clampett kind of new $1 million. I don't get
$1 million.
Good morning, live on Old Town Cleveland.
Yeah, is this Sam Beavers at?
No, Sam is Clyde's brother, but that ain't me. I ain't no kin to him. And you, Sam and Clyde both, but.
Oh, okay.
This is Stan Beaver.
Hi.
Our guest today is Stan Beaver.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
He said, never mind.
Never mind. He had a story on that other guy.
Oh,
yeah, well,
this ain't the guy that owes me money. So
But, I mean, were you a BMI songwriter? Did you get royalties or?
I get every once in a while I'll get a little check of some
yeah,
sort.
well, Ron used to get checks for like $1.25.
My big one was $168. I have you know. Good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Yes, sir. Tell him to sing all that, the old rocking chair.
That's all I learned of it back in 1956 or whenever that was.
Well, this is Bernice, honey.
Bernice.
Hi, Bernice.
Hi. He's got tomatoes. He's got cabbage patch.
All righty. And where is he at the
farmer market?
At the farmer's market.
Peerless Road, honey. But he does have fresh cabbage and stuff right out of the
Okay. Bernice, can you sing us something?
Sitting along in an old rocking chair, I saw an old lady with silvery hair. I love it.
Oh, you quit.
You quit.
I sang in a quartet for 7 years.
Thank you, Bernice.
Bye, darling.
Bye-bye.
But now,
I just love our callers.
People always thought that everybody who's on the radio were millionaires.
Oh, no.
Ain't they?
What, were you?
Ron's
No.
done good.
Or were you like Tug McGraw?
No.
Tug McGraw says, he made millions of dollars playing baseball, and he spent 80% of it on booze and women, and the other 20% he wasted.
Yeah.
Didn't pay no taxes. Okay. Hear that?
So, but now, what kind? When you played a show, what kind of money did you used to make?
Not much.
Yeah.
Enough to eat.
Enough to eat, but
Yeah.
you can tell that.
Well, that may be later. Good morning, live on Old Town Cleveland.
Good morning, Ron.
Hey, Brenda.
I wanted to ask, I heard your guest say that he was in The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
Yeah, but don't blink or you'll miss me.
Well, that's the situation I was in.
Brenda was one of the floozies in there dancing.
So was I. Well, I guess I was a floozy too. Come think about it. Yeah, I was. Was that out there at Brown's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
They called it the Hightail Hideaway.
Yeah.
But they had given me a part in the movie besides the dancing, and I played with me and this other guy played like we were drunk coming out of the bar, and we stumbled into the Cadillac, but that was cut out.
Well, you played the part so naturally.
Yeah, well,
I've never been drunk in my life, Ron.
The only problem was I was the Cadillac you run into. That's the only bad thing.
I'm terribly sorry.
Knock me out. No, I'm teasing.
I was just wondering what part that you played or where you were, so I'd see if I could remember.
Yeah, I was a dancer.
Well, that's what I was too. So you never can tell. We might have been right there together.
Probably was at one point.
If you hadn't been drunk, you'd remembered.
I see that.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I'll let y'all go. I was just wanting to ask that. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'm enjoying the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, she's talking about not the last one. I'm joking. So somebody showed me a trick. I don't drink alcohol generally. Very rare, like once a year or something. But anyway, they all wanted everybody to at least appear to be, and so one of the other extras, this girl up there says, "Hey, I'll fix that for you." She took a beer can, went over, washed it out, got me a can of water, and sat down. Says, "There you go." So I sat there and sipped water. When I'm supposed to be drinking beer, I was drinking water.
You had to go to these conferences and everybody's drinking, so I'd get ginger ale and have them put a lime in it.
Yeah.
It looks like brown something. So you want anything in that? No. No, thank you. But being a musician, you traveled some playing. Tell them how glamorous that life is.
Oh, you wouldn't believe. You just can't understand.
The fine restaurants
and the limousines and the airplanes and all that stuff. I never did have no part of. Yeah.
Yeah. But driving in your car.
Yeah.
To the next gig.
Yep.
Staying in a hotel room.
If I was lucky.
If you could afford it.
Yep.
And then picking a show, and you didn't have road crews and lighting crews and buses, and
I was lucky to have a guitar in them days.
Yeah. Well, you remember when Hank Williams, of course, when he died, drove right through Cleveland, Tennessee.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He come out of Alabama, went up US 11, went right through downtown Cleveland, and somewhere between where he left and where he got to, he had died, and so he may have stopped and got a beer down here on South Lee Highway. We're not sure, but someone. He used to be a little place down there. So, but it is documented he died that night, and when they brought his body back, he come back through Cleveland. So,
Wow.
But here, Hank Williams, pretty big name back in.
Oh yeah.
Traveled in a car.
Big name.
Of course, he had a driver at least, though.
Yeah.
And so.
And he had a brand new 1953 Cadillac convertible he was riding in too.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Now,
I've seen the car.
did you play with bands all the time, or did you show up and just play with whoever was there?
Just whoever was there mostly.
Now that's always fun.
Oh yeah. There was a time in Nashville when I had a band. We played around locally up there, but.
Hey, good morning, live on Old Town Cleveland.
Hello, Ron.
Hey, Miss Ella, how are you?
I'm still a little bit under the weather. I tried to go dancing last night, but I was still too weak.
Well, it's hard to get over a hangover.
It ain't a hangover, it's allergies.
Yeah, that's what we tell people.
Allergic to alcohol.
But I don't think I'm going anymore because nobody was dancing but me.
Well, just have your own party, Miss Ella. Just have your own party.
Right.
Yeah. I wonder, Ron, do you know the Greyhound bus number, 800 number?
Do I know the Greyhound bus is 800 number?
Off the top
No,
of my
darling,
head,
I sure
know
don't.
that.
I tried to find it in the book, but I thought it was 800.
I think it's 1-800-GO-BUS.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
1-800 Greyhound.
Yeah.
Greyhound, you're gone.
Oh, gosh. Sorry, Miss Ella, we don't have that Greyhound.
Okay.
All right. Well, hope you get to feeling better.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, it's just always funny that people talk about how much fun it must be playing shows and staying in the back. You know, I played shows at these beautiful hotels, and I had to go through the kitchen elevators and where all the garbage is hauled out, and that's how you get in to through the back of the hotel, because you can't come through the back lobby carrying all your equipment and all that kind of stuff. And then,
but it was fun.
Oh yeah.
All right, Miss Ella, get your pencil ready. I'm gonna give you that number in just a couple minutes.
Okay,
that's my purpose in life, to be a blessing.
All right.
Okay, it's 1-800-231-2222.
That's easy.
1-800-231-2222.
When I ballet, I had to have a tutu and a tutu.
That's right.
I had a 4-4 myself.
4-4.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller.
How you doing, Ron?
Hey, Brett, how are you, sir?
Good.
So what's going on?
Hey, I was going to tell you, we beat the Dodgers last night.
What was the final score?
8-5.
Okay, that's good. So they play again today?
We play the evening game.
Okay, what time? 7?
7:10, the first pitch.
All right. So and they're playing the Dodgers again tonight, right?
Yes.
All right.
Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. Well, good. So who else? Any other scores you got?
I hope Margaret's not listening in right now. His team lost yesterday.
Well, he didn't have to be listening to know that.
Maybe he knows.
3-2 was the final score.
Yeah, he's a Cubs fan, and you know you just get used to losing if you're a Cubs fan.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget, Ron, my birthday is on next Thursday.
Okay, and what do you want this year?
I don't know. I'm
gonna get you the same thing this year. The year that I got you last year.
You want several more birthdays.
You remember what I got you last year?
No.
Well, that's what I got you. I don't remember it either. All right, Brett. Well, hey, thanks for calling.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you want to get gifts for Brett, bring them by here, and I'll go through them and give him the good stuff. Maybe. All right. So
if I can figure out how to work this thing, if I point up this way, you see this fella up here?
Yeah.
That there guitar he's got.
Yep.
You talk about a dummy for selling the guitar. I sold that guitar.
What was that?
It's a arch top round hole C2 Martin.
Oh gosh.
And I didn't know it at the time, but that thing now is worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Well, since Nashville flooded, a lot of those older guitars are worth unbelievable amounts.
Tell us the craziest show or the craziest thing ever happened to you playing a show.
Oh, gosh. It was probably that time Joel and I played out there at what was the name of that place? We played for Mr. Morgan out there. Anyway, we was
the Fiddle Fest thing?
Fiddle Fest or something like that. Yeah.
Bird thing. Yeah.
We were very much out of place there because it was pretty much bluegrass stuff, and I was doing the, rockabilly type stuff, and we were very much out of place. People would, they go, "Oh yeah, huh? You through yet?"
Well, it was like a strictly acoustic, like old time Fiddle Fest thing, and they randomly invited us, and we're plugging everything in, trying to find plug-ins and everything.
Was that at the like in January or February when they have the big bird thing in Birchwood? Was it in Birchwood?
No, this in Chattanooga, and I don't remember the name of the place right
off.
Like
an atrium or something like that.
Oh yeah, but anyway, whatever it was. I mean, we had
probably
a good time
reflection riding where they take in the
could be something like that.
Yeah.
Well, one of my
injured birds.
One of my more embarrassing ones. We were playing a show, and at the break, my zipper busted out. And unfortunately, it was very obvious it had busted out. I mean, it just didn't lay there. It sort of. So what do? You got to go on. So I duct taped my crotch, and it run duct tape up, and went on stage. And I said my zipper busted, and of course the rest of the show, everybody watched your there in your duct tape, but the show has to go on.
Yeah.
But
well, actually, now that you mention that, I remember that happened to me one time. I had forgot to close it up, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
And that night I was working in the round, so there was no way to turn your back to the audience
Right.
and zip up, because everywhere you looked, there was people, and
You just have to
have to live with it.
Yeah.
Or you just look down and say, "Excuse me."
I pretty much that's what I
Yeah,
did.
you know, and of course everybody laughs, and you go, "Well, this guy was on stage. What did he play? I don't know, but he zipped his pants up right in front of everybody." You know, the things they remember. But
All right, boys, play us a song. What are you
us
going
a-
to play for us now?
Play a rockabilly.
Oh, let's see here. What key did I do then?
What?
You know what?
You're supposed to know what song he's going to play.
Yeah, you know that one there.
What key? What?
Rockabilly the kid come from Tennessee, rocking this state in the land of the free. Learned to play music from the radio. When it come to rocking, he could never say no. This is how the legend begins. Rockabilly, Rockabilly the kid. When Rockabilly was 2 days old, Rockabilly daddy brought a guitar home. Daddy told him how to rock and roll. Rockabilly kid had a lot of soul. Rockin' and a rollin' to a hillbilly beat. Rockabilly rockin', it sounds so sweet. Rock, rock, Rockabilly the kid. 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 I learned to play together like Jerry did. Rockabilly, Rockabilly the kid. Big one. Rock, rock, Rockabilly the kid. 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 Plays the guitar like Elvis did. Rockabilly, Rockabilly the kid. Rockabilly, Rockabilly the kid. Rockabilly, Rockabilly the kid.
All right.
There you go. Stan, last week you were telling us that you had played, or you had operated the sound stage there at Lake Winnie.
Yep.
What was it like meeting Ray Charles? Or was it Ray
Oh,
Charles?
Yeah, Ray Charles among others. Yeah, he was a very nice man, very, very gracious man. He was, and needless to say, he was a performer. He got up there and rocked the house. He was something.
What year do you think that might have been?
Well, I was there from 80 through 83, so it was probably 81, 82, somewhere in there.
Didn't you meet him in the airport, Ron? Ray Charles?
Well, yeah, I was sitting there in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I noticed I was sitting there reading a magazine, and a guy walked up and sat down about 2 or 3 seats down from me. And then he started reading. He pulled out a Braille thing, started reading.
He was by himself in the airport.
And I looked over there, and my friend who was with me, we were traveling to a meeting, and he said, I said, "Is that Ray Charles?" He says, "It is Ray Charles. Let's go talk to him."
Bless
So I
him.
said,
Put your
the guy
book away,
got
Ray.
over
Here
there,
comes
and the guy says,
tourist.
"Mr. Charles," he said, "I heard you play in Atlanta, some in 60, something like that." And Ray Charles said, "Well, I opened up with this number." He said, "Yeah, that's my favorite." I said, he remembered what song he had played,
Oh, yeah.
opening up and stuff like that, and just was extremely nice and just acted like he was thrilled to death, like saying, "Oh my God, somebody else bothered me." But, you know, how that was. But the only act I ever met that was really rude.
I can name several.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to name this one because I got hired to do his security for him in Nashville at a Nashville concert. It was Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin brothers.
I've heard that about him. I don't know.
He was actually he told the audience to do not come to the front of the stage and take his picture. He would stop playing a song, and he would not to talk to anybody backstage. Matter of fact, I was told no one can talk to him. You can't talk to him. Nobody. He sort of went up and done his show, and he went back in there. And I went, okay. So, but
Yeah.
everybody else has always been just great. You know, the people I've been around and seen, and I sat with Travis Tritt in a bar in Nashville one night. Didn't know who it was because I was sitting there drinking my Diet Coke, and so he said he was drinking a beer and went back and forth, and I said, and he bought me a Diet Coke, and I bought him a beer, and we went back and forth, sitting there talking, and then the band says, "Hey, we got a guy here just recorded his first record out called what was it? A Member of the Country Club was his first song. Travis Tritt. So Travis Tritt went up and so he was a really nice guy. You know, we're going.
Ron thought, bless his heart, he can't make it.
Some old long-haired dude there, you know, he ain't gonna
He can make it in country music.
Yeah.
I met a lot of very nice people out there, and like I say, some of them, I won't call her name, but there's a certain female performer. And she was just out on stage. Oh, I'm just so glad to be here. I just love y'all so much. Backstage, she was like a drill sergeant. You move this, get that. Oh, boy, she was mean.
Well, Ron, I think during a rainstorm one time, it helped. Was it Gene Watson?
Gary Morris.
Gary Morris.
Yeah, we opened up for Gary Morris in Jackson.
And it came one of those.
Those are fun.
Yeah. And so Ron and the guys all jumped in and helped get his equipment out of the rain and stuff. And we bumped into him somewhere years later, and he remembered that.
You couldn't miss that rainstorm. I mean, you're outside at a fair, no cover, and boom. I mean, he was into his fifth song, and so. But yeah, but most guys are.
So at Lake Winnie, who just were you starstruck by?
Gosh, probably Ricky Nelson.
Really?
Yeah.
How was his show? Just
great. He was. In fact, I don't know if I've got it on me or not, but I've got a guitar pick that he used.
Mm-hmm.
They had tons of picks, and this is one in particular he just dropped. And so after the show, I went up and got it, and I've still got it. I can't remember if it's in my billfold at the moment or not, but I still carry it.
Yeah, I understand.
He was probably the biggest star. I got to be I didn't do the sound that time, but I got to be chauffeur and whatever to Chubby Checker.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh yeah, so took him and his wife back and forth to the hotel and whatever. And he was really nice. He called me up on stage at the second show to do the twist with him. So nice of him.
I've got one better. I got to drive around Junior Samples.
Wow.
I mean, there's my claim to fame. You know, that and about $5 to get you a cup of coffee over here at
Starbucks.
Starbucks, you know,
3/4 of a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
You can't get much coffee for that.
No. You can't.
So you've worked radio and recording studios. Tell us what all you've done.
And television.
Tell us what all you've done.
Well, you're talking about television. I worked at Channel 53 here when they came on. My dad and I had a show on there for one thing, but I produced a lot of commercials and so forth on there, and I was on radio in Nashville. It was actually a Christian station, WWGM, way back when, and oh gosh, to try to name it all, I don't know. There's just so many things.
Was you down there when I did the TV show at WFLI? Me and Tennessee T. We did it. We were a country band, and we
late '80s.
We did shows there. I know Machine Benz.
Oh, okay.
And the story goes on.
And what was her husband's name?
Billy.
Billy. Now he was big time radio guy, wasn't
he?
WFLI and a lot of other places.
Billy Benz was a technical genius.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing one guy talk about it one time. Billy also built that was it WJTT in Chattanooga, the FM station.
Yeah.
And the guy was telling me, he said, I went out there one day to their tower and looked, said, and that was the strangest looking antenna I've ever seen on a radio station. He said, but that little 3,000 watts at the time, 3,000 watt station covered the whole valley through here because of that antenna array he had. He knew how to build them. Unfortunately, he was a drunk and a reprobate and whatever also, but he was a technical genius.
It was,
well.
But Miss Benz, Channel 53, WFLI was originally licensed to Cleveland, Tennessee, although the studio was in Georgia, down across the line. Although we thought that was strange, but and then of course they've sold 53, and it's a lot bigger station now. But it was interesting in those early days to go down to the on the mountain down there and on the hill in Georgia.
That's where I worked.
Yeah.
But now I don't know. I've never seen the, maps and whatever of it. But when Mr. Benz put that station down there, I'll bet you he had better coverage down there than what they've got now.
Well, another big reason was I was in the cable television business all that time. Is that
That's where I know you from.
Yeah.
I knew you, doggone you. I know it.
Did you owe me money?
No, actually, you owed me.
Maybe I don't know you.
But
anyway,
put the tower down there, and his signal was so large, he got on more TV cable companies because of the must carry rules. So really was pretty darn smart.
He was.
Ying didn't know what she's doing. She had no idea. It was in her name, which being a minority, being in a female, is how come she got the license. There was
That's right.
13, 14 people applied for that particular license, I believe it was.
But Mr. Benz picked apart everybody else's application. When he filed that application, he'd say, you cannot grant this to such and such company because they're going to do this or they're not going to do that or whatever, and that's against the FCC rules and so forth. So basically, he picked apart everybody, got down to his company and said, and we got a minority woman owner, so you have to give it to us.
All right.
And he did it.
Well, yeah, smart business.
Oh, yeah.
So now, what other did you work? You worked around in Nashville some too, didn't you?
Mostly recording studios. Where I worked at a couple of radio stations over there.
Now, being in music, did you move around a lot?
I did in the early days when my dad was moving around. We, like I say, he was from Ducktown and my mom was from Turtletown, and
well, that's a big courtship there. Now.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you had to walk, that's a long way.
A long way.
Yeah.
But he.
Well, now was the family in mining or anything?
No.
Why were they in Ducktown? What
born there.
What reason would you be in Ducktown?
My grandfather, his dad, was in the mines. He was what they call a shooter. He's a dynamite expert.
Have you been to the museum up there?
Yes, have.
It's very good.
We had
it's
them
very,
on
very
about
good.
3 weeks ago talking about Ducktown.
And Ken Rush is incredible.
And we posted some of the pictures of what Ducktown looked like. We'll remember. I don't know if Joel remembered it or not. He's
Joel's
really
seen
young.
pictures of it.
But you had to drive through there, and you drive and you're coming through the forest and the river, and then all of a sudden you get to this area and there's not a tree, a bush, a grass. Yep. There is no topsoil.
Surface of Mars.
Matter of fact, there was no topsoil. Then the next layer of soil was gone, so it was down like 2 layers of soil, and it was just red hills, and it was amazing to drive through there.
Yeah. That was because of the sulfuric acid, air pollution in those days.
Yeah, they didn't when they were smelting the ore. They thought they were melting it, but they were releasing sulfuric acid. Eventually, they realized we captured the sulfuric acid. We'll make more money than we did off the copper.
And they did. They made more money out of that acid production than they did the mines.
There are actually trees up there now, but and they're hauling
Then the pine beetles came through.
They're hauling that orange slag or whatever it is out of there by the truckloads now. So. But that Ducktown's an interesting place. So, that's an interesting place to grow up, too.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we're looking for some place to show our documentary up there. If somebody has a connection maybe with a church or Masonic Lodge or someplace like that would seat maybe 50 or 60 people or 100 people would be even better, we'd like to show the documentary up there.
Right.
We've tried to negotiate, with the school, but can't seem to get the right person on the phone that's willing to say, yes, I'll give up a Sunday afternoon to help you.
If you like to buy a copy of the DVD for Caney Creek, it is at the Ducktown Basin Museum. Matter of fact, the first order he got sold out immediately, and I already ordered more, and I'm going, so I said, well, I thought, he would, the first order, they would take a while, but he called a week later and said, hey, we need more.
Wow.
We like that problem.
We like that problem, yeah. So.
Yeah, they sold out of my CD too. They sold the first 2, and then I had to.
You got a million cellar. You still got a million of them in the cellar.
Yeah.
I never can time it right. Like on my Confederate history book, they all sold out and ordered a big order. They sold out, ordered a big order, and they still got them.
Recently, we signed a deal with Columbia Records.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I have to buy 10 more at regular club prices is all I have to do now.
I signed with Columbia Records, and So far, I haven't been able to get them to sign it.
Yeah.
If I ever do that, I'm in.
I worked for CBS, the Cleveland bus station. I've done all those bad jokes. Oh, we used to. If we
The
were,
same bad jokes
if we
over
were-
and over.
If we were playing in Polk County, and we'd say, "Well, folks, we got to go. We got to head towards Nashville." Well, if you drive down 64 back towards Cleveland,
You're
that's sort of
headed toward
towards
Nashville.
Nashville.
That's right.
Yeah, and I've headed towards Atlanta, and I've headed, wherever I'm playing. Sometimes just headed home. A lot of times.
But you don't tell them that.
No, it's show business, So, no one believed I was in show business. Of course, when we did that TV show on Channel 53, all 18, 19 people that watched us were real big fans.
Well, I hate to say this, but I don't remember that. I'm sorry.
No one else does either. I've got a DVD I can show you.
I'd like to see that. But
we showed it to our children who could not get beyond the what they call the Bill Cosby sweaters that one of the guys wore every week.
The piano player.
Jumping and the bopping and
And they couldn't get beyond those wild late 1980s sweaters.
Okay. There was a song that something about a bomb.
Yeah.
Is it a bomb?
No, well, it was a bomb. No,
It was a bomb.
The song was called "That Little Old Bomb Maker Me."
Okay.
And it was the flip side of "I Got a Rocket in My Pocket."
Can you do that?
I don't know if I can remember it or not. How does it start, Joel? You remember? Oh yeah.
My mama said.
Well, yeah. What key do that?
I don't know. Whatever key you.
Just pick one.
I'm gonna have to restart you. No, that ain't it. I can tell you already. Well, my mama sent me down to school. She said to learn the golden rule. Sha-da-da-da. But my teacher said to me, you must study chemistry. To the lab I took a stroll. Sha-da-da-da. Started mixing in a bowl. Sha-da-da-da. The kids all hollered, who is he? That little old bomb maker, me. The kids all scattered when they heard the blast. All you could see were splinters and glass. They looked through the smoke to see what it could be. That little bomb maker, me. Take it, son. I forgot the word. The kids all scattered when they heard the blast. All they could see were splinters and glass.
Ow.
They looked through the smoke to see what it could be. That little old bomb maker, me.
Woo. It's not funny that you forget the words. It's funny how you react to it. It's the reason I'm over laughing. He's like, but that was fun.
I know that look when you look over and go, like, what?
What?
What's next?
Give me a hint.
It's just kind of like everything.
Well, see, he's supposed to know all this stuff. That's why I hired him. He's my roadie and my guitar player.
How well does this pay, Joel?
Not well enough, I tell you.
You ever heard of room and board?
Room and board. There you go.
Now, Stan, are you retired now, or what? What are you?
Not by choice, but pretty much. I had some heart problems here a few years ago, and just kind of took the wind out of my sails,
That will do that, won't it?
Yeah, and that ain't fun.
Now, a picture up on the screen now. How old are you there?
I'm not sure, but I
You
think
look like
those
Wolfman Jack in those pictures.
Yeah, that's what everybody said. Those are stills from the TV show at Channel 53, so that was
in the
81, 82, somewhere in there. I don't know. It was later than that, 84, 85, I guess it was, something like that. So ever how many years that was.
You were 22 then, right?
John says that our show is being monitored by the CIA for national security purposes because of the bomb song.
That's what I was going to say. That's why I don't do that song no more.
Yeah, there's some things that just couldn't do that anymore. Okay, guys, we need to take our 11 o'clock break, and we'll be back with you in just a few moments. Please.
Well, wait, not yet.
just hang on. We've got Stan and Joel Beaver with us.
We can't do it yet because I'm not ready.
Well,
talk a second. Tell us what's going on.
Joel, just sing them. Go ahead, Joel. Just sing them.
That's the wrong sponsor.
Do the cat napper commercial. Let's hear you meow like those cats. I thought that was a pretty funny commercial until I got a kitten that got hidden in my car and I couldn't find it, and I felt like I was doing the commercial.
All right, here we go, folks. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. Whoop FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Check into cash. Got the cash you need when you need it fast. We're your money machine. We'll make your wallet sing. Get on up and get down. Check into cash. Ka-ching.
Short on cash? Visit Check Into Cash and get up to $425 cash advance until your next payday, even without a check. It's quick, easy, and confidential.
Money in your pocket so quick and easy. Get the cash you need confidentially.
Got a bank account but no checkbook? Not a problem with Check Into Cash. If you need money now, you can get our new payday loan even without a check. Get the money you need right now at Check Into Cash, your one-stop money shop.
Check Into Cash is your money machine. Get on up and get down. Check Into Cash. Ka-ching.
Always use Payday Advance responsibly. Visit checkintocash.com for the store nearest you. Wheeler Technologies has moved. Visit them at their new location at 490 Grove Avenue Southwest next to Bradley Rentals. Same great folks, same great service with a better location to serve you. Call Wheeler Technologies for voice, data, and security needs at 664-TECH. That's 664-8324. And remember, depend on Wheeler Technologies for the current time and temperature every day at 476-1111. Tennessee Alarm Contractor C1750.
Better sleep can be as simple as sleeping on a better mattress. The Better Sleep Council, which Mermaid Mattress is a member of, recognizes May as Better Sleep Month. So visit Mermaid Mattress today where you can get a better mattress at a better price guaranteed. A special announcement by Mermaid Mattress. In 1979, Mermaid Mattress opened their doors on Lee Highway in Chattanooga, bringing factory direct pricing directly to the public. In 2002, they started carrying Tempur-Pedic, becoming the first local retailer to carry the most highly recommended bed in America. Now, Mermaid introduces mattresses from two of the largest manufacturers, Sealy Posturepedic and Stearns & Foster, allowing you to buy factory direct or national brands locally only at Mermaid Mattress.
Mermaid Mattress Factory and Showroom.
Hi, this is Lisa. Tune in every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock for Backfire right here on 99.9 Whoop FM. Then it's always a great show every Saturday with Old Town Cleveland. You can find out a lot about the history of our hometown right here in Cleveland, Tennessee. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite bluegrass music all day long, Saturday on 99.9 Whoop FM.
Welcome back to Old Town Cleveland here on Whoop FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.whoopfm.com. I said the interstate the other day, and I can't get that out of my brain. I have to stop and go.
Well,
the
so far we've
internet.
talked about rockets and bombs and dives and dancing and drinking and playing
just
music.
good stuff.
Good stuff.
All the regular, normal, everyday stuff.
Yeah. If you're listening to Old Town Cleveland today, we're talking to Stan Beaver in the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. We'll talk about you getting inducted in that. Number 128, 48, 43?
I believe.
Yeah.
So so is it? Tell me about the Hall of Fame. I mean, the museum that we. What do you guys know about it?
Joel and I went over there one time here. It's been some years ago now, before Bob got sick, guy that's running the place. And they were planning on building a museum and all that. And
Let's see what we got.
they had a recording studio. They still got their rockabillyhall.com is the thing if you want to check them out. And there is another thing called the Rockabilly Hall of Fame in Jackson, Tennessee. And it's not the same company, same outfit, whatever. But Bob Timmers owns the name, the rights to the name and all that. And so he told this guy, you got to do something about this. And so he said, okay. So he spelled his Rock-A-Billy, the guy over in Jackson, and still going strong. He's not really supposed to do that, but that's what he's doing. And he's getting a lot of publicity and whatever out of it. Yeah.
Well, that's I sent Bob a email yesterday or day before yesterday, told him you were going to be on and see if he could call, but I understand he's in poor health now.
I'm sorry to hear that. I had heard that he would been sick, but I don't.
And he said he wouldn't be able to participate, but he said good things about Stan and said he might try to listen. So Bob, hope you're getting better over there and there. Stan, one of the better things you've done, you got this great son over here, Joel, who's doing his own new album now, I understand. And why don't you play one of your songs?
All right, if I can.
This is Joel Beaver, not with an S, and it's not Justin. It's Joel.
Just one beaver.
One beaver.
Joel one beaver.
Joel one beaver. All right, this is a song I've been doing for a while. I wrote this song a few years ago. It's on the new album.
All right.
PSC here. It's called Everyone Everything Changes. I think Fro plays it all the time, so we'll do it here for Well, everything changes. Well, some love is lost, some is found. The whole world keeps spinning, I can't change it. Well, everything changes somehow. Well, everything changes. Everyone's star must fall. Everything changes. Everyone's bluff must be called. Some things I had to learn the hard way. Some things are better left alone. Everything changes. Be changing from now on. Life and death, oh, no problem. Except for what you have to do. Just to prepare for those changes. You know that they're heading for you. Well, everything changes. You gotta live for today from now on. Everything changes. Gonna be changing from now on.
Everything changes.
That's it.
Pretty good. I like that. Good hook line.
Well, I don't see a listing for an actual museum on here, but I did go through and look, and when you go to that site, you can click on and hear music, and you can look at pictures and all that kind of stuff, and you can actually buy, even buy a T-shirt for your dog that says the Rockabilly Hall of Fame on it.
Well, now we're talking.
But they had lots of merchandise, coffee cups and T-shirts. And
I don't know if my dog would like to have one.
No.
So
we were talking earlier about Joel learning these chords.
Mm-hmm.
This thing where he was doing this one for this thing at school one time. And I took him aside and I said, boy, I'm going to teach you one chord. And I want you to learn it. Because when you do, what they call a bar chord.
Yeah.
So once you learn that, you can play anything. Because it's up, down. So he went out and woodshedded that one chord. And finally became a guitar player. Mm-hmm. The only thing is, he still plays an E like this, rather than like
with the bar. Yeah,
he still plays it like a bar.
I play it the way you do too. There you go.
Other than that, that's the only.
Well, that and you told me it was a bar chord, so now I went out and played it in all these bars.
Wait a minute, that's not.
There's some really famous people. All they can make is bar chords. Play if you hear some of those great singers and the good-looking guy out front, and all he can do is play a bar chord. And
well, I've learned more since then. Just to clarify,
you got 4 or 5 ones there.
4 or 5.
You got that D and D seventh down.
Yeah.
So that's where he started with that. With that bar chord.
What was your first song you ever learned? I mean, you learned something from your grandmother.
Yeah. I think the first song because before I even learned how to play chords, I was playing leads on stuff, just picking out stuff, and I think the first thing that I ever picked out and learned was from Carl Perkins, "Honey Don't," and I learned.
Oh, like Carl Perkins said, he listened to Les Paul.
Yeah.
And he said, and he tried to make all those sounds like Les Paul did, but he didn't realize Les Paul had all this electronic gear.
That's right.
And Carl learned to do it just without it.
I heard a recording like that. Joel had found it somewhere on the internet.
Now you mess me up again. I'll mess it up next time.
But where Carl's playing all those parts all at once, live. And it's amazing to hear him do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, my first song was Louie Louie.
And I've seen Ron teach that to about 5 kids. Yeah.
Then I learned that was La Bamba and and his. I can't get my lips loose there. Know what to do anymore.
Yeah, I'm a big Buddy Holly fan, so that's where I've learned all that stuff.
Well, that now, so was Buddy Holly your inspiration to get into music? And so
he, I was less than 2 months from my 10th birthday when Buddy Holly died, and it didn't have that much an effect on me at the time. I remember going down the road one day with me and my folks, and they played one of Buddy's records on the radio. Hey, that's that guy died in the plane crash. Yeah, that's him. But then again, 1963, I think it was 63, when we went to Baltimore, I was on the Buddy Dean show and all that. We were staying at my aunt's house, my aunts and my cousins and whatever, and they had a Buddy Holly Greatest Hits album. And we sat and played that for 3 or 4 days, just all the time. And that's really what got me hooked on Buddy Holly. I came back home and bought all the records I could find and whatever. So that's really where it came from.
The little sidebar there. There's a gentleman here in town. who has a piece of the airplane. That
He says.
He lived in Iowa near Clear Lake, and they all went out there, and it wasn't no big deal, and they just picked up little parts of the plane and everything.
Wow.
People carried them off. So a little bit of history. And,
Tragic
to
loss.
me, I go, it's just that was so. Some people say, "Well, big deal." But but it's such a history there. Waylon Jennings didn't get on the airplane that day.
Was smart.
Yeah, he was one of the lucky ones, and but the Big Bopper and Big Bopper wrote that song for was it Johnny Horton, "Running Bear, Love Little White Dove." Do you know that was George Jones doing the Indian calls in the background?
No, I didn't know that.
J.P. Richardson and George Jones were doing yeah. That was. There's your trivia for this week. If you're playing Trivia Pursuit and that comes up,
you're a winner.
I'm in. Yeah.
Well, let me warn you about another thing on Trivia Pursuit. There's a question there. It says, "What is the cause of all human death?" And it says, "The lack of oxygen to the brain." Later on, they brought out a question that said, "What killed Clarabelle the clown?" I said, "Lack of oxygen to the brain." They wouldn't give that to me. They said an elephant stepped on them, what the answer says. But the cause of all human death.
Makes sense.
So, I wrote them and contested that to the company.
Well, you should, yeah.
Yeah, they
you were talking about, too, that somebody got a piece of the Buddy Holly airplane. I don't know whatever happened to it. It got away from me. I used to have a little piece of rubber, that goes around the window from the Patsy Cline crash. I went out there one time, Dad and I and several people went out some months after the crash, but there was still...
Where was the crash actually at?
Camden, Tennessee, or just
Camden.
outside.
Okay.
And I had that, and somewhere it got away from me. But, I found it at the crash site. So
another tragic loss.
It was.
Yeah.
Ron, I want to stop here for just a second and mention that we want all of our friends to come over to Benton tomorrow to be with us at 2 o'clock. There's going to be a free viewing of the Caney Creek documentary there at the Polk County Historical Society at the First Baptist Church. And also Fro's playing tonight from 8 to 12 at B&B Marina. And the fish truck is coming on June the 1st. You can call 478-2405 to place an order. And the Museum Center at this moment is having their Rags to Riches sale at Church and First Street, and everything's half price today. And I wanted to mention that don't quite have next week's show confirmed, but I've got a lot of leads on that one. And on June 1st, Doug Mizell and his buddies will be in here. June 15th, we're going to have the Blind Man's Club. That's all the old umpires in Bradley County are going to be here. And then on the 22nd, over Hill, Tennessee, Linda Caldwell's going to be here, very knowledgeable person about the history in this area. And then on the 29th, we're going to be talking about old cars with Connie Wright.
Good.
We're having one of the biggest car shows.
Antique car shows.
An antique car show in this part of the country in Cleveland this September. It'll be something to get out and see.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us the difference between rock and roll, country, and rockabilly. Tell us what makes a song rockabilly.
Well, country's George Jones. That's hard to miss. George passed recently. Rock and roll would be more like
Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones.
Well, even before that, though, it would be, I guess, what you call the doo-wop, street corner rock and roll of the 50s. And rockabilly.
I feel like I'm in a musical.
Rockabilly is more like the early Elvis, early Buddy Holly, that like that. And they are separate styles and whatever, but they're
so it took a little, little of the funness of the doo-wop and a little bit of the storytelling out of country, and then added a beat to it.
Yep.
And told a young person's song, I think.
Who do you think it really had the first real rockabilly hit? Would it be Carl Perkins?
First hit, I don't know. The first, as far as I'm concerned, the first rockabilly record was "That's All Right, Mama," Elvis.
Oh, I love it.
There were a few things before that, a few things after that, where different historians, say different things. But to me, that was that was the beginning of it all. There was another record called Rocket 88 by, was it Berenson? What was this? Jackie Berenson and his group. Also recorded at Sun Studio in a couple of years before That's All Right Mama. But it was still, I guess, what you'd call today early rhythm and blues as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The real rockabilly didn't happen until, you know.
Yeah.
That's rockabilly.
Good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Yeah, didn't Conway Twitty have a couple of rock and roll hits in the early 50s and 60s?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he started in
What would
rock and
that
roll.
have been? What were some of those hits?
Gosh, I don't. I
what was the name
remember
of
his
that,
country hits.
I can't remember either. I know my mom's a big Conway Twitty fan. She has had out all of his songs.
Well, I think and Johnny Cash was a little bit even started out some rock and roll.
Willie Nelson too, I think.
Well, and this little autobiography she had of Conway Twitty said that he had to go into rock and roll to keep up.
Pretty much, yeah. He was.
Is that a Harold Jenkins?
Yeah.
Recorded under Harold Jenkins.
Yeah, he was on Sun Records once upon a time, believe it or not, as Harold Jenkins. What was the name of that?
We spent the whole day trying to remember things.
I know what it is, but it's only make believe. That was Conway's first hit.
Okay,
it's only make believe.
He had
and
some
that
more
was,
like straight up rockabilly stuff earlier than that, though.
but that was the first hit.
Rock something. He had some kind of song with rock something. I cannot remember for the life of me. But I just want to call in and talk about that.
Oh, well,
I
maybe
should know.
Somebody will call us and tell us in a minute because
looking it up right
there are people who are going to tell us. Well, thank you for calling.
All
His name was Harold Lloyd Jenkins. Conway Twitty was.
Right. Harold. I don't know how you get to Conway Twitty from there.
I don't know either.
Conway, Arkansas, and Twitty, Texas. That's where he got his name from.
I learned something.
What about Sleepy LaBeef?
What about him?
You know him?
I knew him. I met him a time or two.
A big guy who played rockabilly, didn't he? He just
didn't know him that well, but I knew him. He worked for Tom T. Hall for a time in Nashville, and I worked for Tom late 80s, late 70s, as the engineer in the studio, and so I crossed paths with him a few times. But
he was 6'6", I think, and big, heavy guy, and
big man,
and sung out deep. We got, I think, in the system we got. He sings, does little old wine drinker me, which was a Dean Martin song, I guess, wasn't
it? Dean had a hit. Yeah,
Dean and Robert Mitchum.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, do you think rockabilly ever got the big playtime, and was it really the big genre, or was it more of a just a secondary market, or what do you think about it? I mean, you played in it, so you know.
They didn't really call it rockabilly in the days of rockabilly. Just like in the days of doo-wop, they didn't call it doo-wop. It was just music.
Mm-hmm.
But the rockabilly, like I say, it really began, as far as I'm concerned, with Elvis. And because of Elvis, Buddy Holly, people like that. And they all called it rock and roll in those days, but it was what we call today rockabilly.
Good morning, you're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Hey, I'd like to ask, would you all call the Everly Brothers rockabilly? And
Some of the early stuff, yes, sir.
I thought brothers done better in Europe than they done in the States.
Yeah.
Well, that's true of a lot of acts, wasn't it?
Yeah, even now. I've got some of my records are still playing in England and Australia, and they're still going on over there now. Go ahead, caller. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I think we lost him.
Uh-oh.
Call back there.
I'm
We
sorry.
lost you there.
I apologize.
Oh, no, he did.
Well,
I think he was having some
Ron
phone
may have
problems.
leaned on the button.
Yeah,
Or it was
Call
like
back if you.
I called in the other day and I couldn't hear what was going on in here, and I kept saying, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" And they finally just hung up on me because I sounded like a parrot.
If you see our Whoop van out there, this is the most incompetent radio station in America. You know. So.
Hey, at least you're famous for something, man.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, you can see our Advanced now there all the time because it don't run.
Yeah. I heard that.
So it's
It
always
could possibly be the worst driving vehicle.
It is the
The
worst.
only thing that works are the brakes, and when you touch them, it slams you through the windshield.
Yeah. You don't get going really fast, but when you touch the brakes,
I
it
think I
stops.
was in it one time, and it's
Don't go there.
I'm sorry. It's I don't. They store things in it now. or
They
something like
asked
that.
us just to take it down to the block party one night, and we did it one time and said, we're not getting back in that thing. It's a death trap.
Let's play another song. Play something rockabilly. You know, what do you know? Yours or somebody's? What would you? You know what? Was,
That's a little high. Well, that's all right now, mama. That's all right for you. That's all right now, mama. Just any way you do, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right now, mama. Any way you do. Well, my mama, she done told Papa told me too. Son, that gal you're fooling, she ain't no good for you. That's all right now, mama. Any way you do. Pick it there, huh? That's the most copied guitar lick in the world. I'm leaving town now, baby. I'm leaving town for sure. Then you won't be bothered with me hanging around your door. That's alright. That's alright. That's alright now, mama. Any way you do. That's alright now, mama. Any way you do.
that woke some people up if they were not awake already. Joel, I had put this picture up of you.
Oh, Lord. I remember that day.
Do you still have that hair, Joel?
Somewhere.
Good morning, live on Old Town Cleveland.
Good morning, Ron.
Hey, Red, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Has Bad Actor called in today?
No, he sent me a text earlier.
Well, if he's listening, tell him that he can have that ticket down there to the little old fort. It's for a hot dog or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in my name. Tell him he can pick it up if he wants.
I'm
If that's
sure
for a
he
hot
will.
dog, I'll take it.
We sure will.
All right.
All right, Red. Hey, you been listening this morning?
No, I just got back from the grocery store.
Well, we've been picking old rockabilly music.
Yeah, who you been?
I had to go buy groceries.
Well, you could have waited till 2 o'clock to do that.
No, I go before the rush gets on.
All right, Red. Well, you listen to the rest of the show now.
All right.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.
I'm finding songs I've never heard of before by Conway Twitty. 1959, Halfway to Heaven, Hallelujah, I Love Her So, Heavenly, Hey Little Lucy, Don't You Put No Lipstick On, and Hey Miss Ruby.
Hallelujah, I Love Her So. I remember that.
That's Ray Charles.
Yeah. Good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Is this Ron?
This is Ron.
Okay, I'm enjoying your show real good, but I wonder if you could help me out on who sings since you're in all this music. This song called Out of Sight, Out of Mind, if that was George Jones or George Strait. It sounded like George Jones. I heard it one morning on your station, but somebody said George Strait had it.
Okay, Ron, he's looking for it right now.
Go ahead and talk while I look here.
I never can think of anything to say when he says, go ahead and talk.
You're in radio. You put them sing.
I'm sitting here shaking my
I
head,
started saying,
yes.
Sing, Deb. And I said, no, don't do that.
No.
We do not let Deb
I
sing.
only sing in the event of an actual emergency and the room needs to be empty.
Or if Mars Attack. You remember the Mars Attack movie where, well, when she sort of sings Slim Whitman and thing.
Just look up the song.
Okay.
That's all right. Just take your time.
Okay. Who's this?
This is Lois. I don't hardly ever call, but I listen to you guys all the time.
Well, thank you for being a listener.
And I really enjoy it. And but this song came up, and my sister, she thought it was George Strait, and I said, well, it just sounded so much like George Jones.
You know,
It's Billy Joe Royal. The one we got in ours says "Out of Sight and Out of Mind" is Billy Joe Royal.
Okay.
That's not even close to George Jones.
Joe South.
Thanks.
She said she pulled it up on the computer and it said George Strait, so I just wasn't.
He may have already done it, but the "Out of Sight, Out of Mind" says Billy Joe Royal. When we go off the air today, I'm gonna play that song for you.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Someone sent me this random text message the other day when I was at school, and it said, "What was that song that just played?" And I'm thinking, well, first of all, I'm at work and I'm not listening. I don't know.
You still go to school, do you?
I do. I still go to school. One of these days, I'm going to get out of elementary school.
Yeah, I went 12 years, and I went through the 5th grade, the best 12 years of my life. I get that joke right in a minute. I mean, yeah.
I went to school once.
Yeah.
Once.
Joel
would be the kid that I had in 3rd grade that used to bang on his desk all day long. Stop that.
My brain just doesn't work as good. Because right now I'm worried more about the hereafter. So I go into the room and say, "What am I here after?"
What not come in here after?
I've done that on occasion.
You know, Bill Cosby says when your bottom hits the chair, that makes you remember what you're standing in the other room looking for.
What's some of your standard jokes you do when you play?
Oh gosh.
Well, Ron's always was that John had joined the health spa, and Ron would
John's
always
a large
say,
guy. I says, "How much you lost so far, John?" He goes, $175.
and every week it was a different 162, 73, and I laugh every time because they were just so funny doing it.
My dad and I used to have a whole bunch of routines that we did. I was talking about when we played the log cabin chops up there that time, but most of the humor, most of the jokes, let's say, came out of just pretty much making them up as we went along.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything right off the top of my head, but he'll just. There was one. This reminded me of it. I hear music play.
I'm glad you heard that too.
Your music and
anyway,
we're next door to a ballet studio, and it's where the little kids are doing tap dancing, and that it's going on, and the guys are over here trying to play music. We just have to say, "Turn her up."
Yeah, that's it. What was I talking about? I forgot.
Jokes.
Humor.
Jokes.
And you were at the log cabin.
Yeah. Yeah. What you hear after?
One of the things we had mic stands, not unlike this, but the what they call gooseneck.
Yes.
With a bend.
Yes.
And just off the top of my head one day, Dad said, "Okay, sing a song." I said, "Okay, but first, I'd like to do my Superman impression. Y'all want to see my Superman?" Everybody, yeah. I bent that gooseneck mic. And everybody laughed. It was, but that's most of the jokes we did was just crazy stuff like that.
We told people we could play any song they named out backwards.
Well, I tell them, say, I'll take whatever request you got. Just write it on the back of a $20 bill and bring it up here.
Make it 100, and I'll guarantee we'll do it. But
I'll sing it for you whether
play
I
it
know
backwards.
it or not.
We'd turn around and play it to them in the back. And of course, we had that joke we used to do. We played in Kalijah. In the middle of it, we turned it into "The Wall" by Pink Floyd. But anyway, we said, I said, "Hey, John, they need to start." And I go, I used to date a Indian girl. I dated a Arapaho and a Navajo and a Chattanooga girl. So we
and some jokes.
Some of the jokes were just for us too.
Oh yeah,
and you tell jokes and you go, "Oh yeah." People look at you. Of course,
So Joel, how old were you when you did your first? Stood up in front of more than 30 people and played. How old do you think you were?
I was 27, I think. Finally,
I honestly can't really remember. I remember being doing stuff on stage when I was a little bitty kid. But do you remember the first time I
don't remember the first time. I know he did a lot of things in school. I was talking about that chord business a while ago. But when he was going to even grammar school, they had programs on there, and so he would do stuff like that. And after he learned some chords, he done real good.
But I was playing drums for Gene Coleman when I was about 9, 10 years
Something
old,
like that.
and so I played with a lot of people at that age. So I really can't remember not doing it.
Well, tell the we were not on the air a while ago when y'all were talking about Dollywood and Tom Morgan, which our listeners know Tom.
Well, I told the story that he had that guitar that he's proud of, and he should be. That's a good old guitar.
1940 Martin.
Yeah. But Joel and I went up there one day, and
what do you think? How old do you think Joel was?
He was
under 10.
No, he was 11 or 12, I think, something like that. But anyway, I walked up, and Mr. Morgan said, "Do you play?" I said, "Yeah, I play at it." He said, "You want to play something?" Started to hand me his guitar. I said, "I'm left-handed. I need a left-handed guitar." I said, "But I will play bass for you," because he had a doghouse bass there. So I got it, and I started playing. And he sang a song too. I said, "You mind if my boy plays something?" And he got this look on his face like, you want that kid to handle this guitar. Like, oh, God. But he said, "Well, okay." And he handed it to him. And Joel, ripped off a couple of licks on him. And he looked at me and he says, "You knowed he could do it all alone, didn't you?" Yes, sir, I did.
Of course, that's about the same time when the Whoop started. And we were in the house band when they started it with the Traditional Music Center.
With Jerry Venable and
with Jerry,
when they were over in the old paint shop.
I found a picture of you and Jerry playing together somewhere.
Well, even before that one, every Monday night we'd play at the Shake Shack. So we were doing that.
That we're big time now.
That's big time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, play us something. What do y'all want to play? No, I like for them just kind of look at each other like there's not another song in there, and then they'll lick.
I'm trying to remember. Like I say, I haven't really played and sang.
I always love musicians who do this. They say, "Well, I really don't remember it." If they can ever get that first note,
Can you do one of your songs?
You name that song in 3 notes, and if you give me 3 notes, and I'm ready to go.
Can you?
And I like the way he never lets Joel in on the secret what they're going to play.
He looks at me and says, "What's the first word?" I'm like, "What song are you doing?"
Well, when what's
they all start out that well, all I want is a party dog. Anyway,
what's the boss? What's his name?
Springsteen.
Yeah, he was playing in a little old bar one time, and they got hired to be the background band for Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
And they walked in, and he says, "What are we going to play?" And Chuck said, "We're going to play Chuck Berry songs." Go. What? Didn't tell him what key. We're going to play Chuck Berry.
We're going to play Chuck Berry songs like that.
Go ahead.
What did I start to say?
I have no idea.
I was going to start. Well. Oh, that was it. Well, let me see here. Let me think of something.
Let me see what the words are.
Walking down the street like a good boy should. Then to my surprise, there it stood. It was a big old sign that said "Special today. Come and get it right away. Chocolate covered hockey puck is here to stay. I want a chocolate covered hockey puck.
Chocolate covered hockey puck.
A chocolate covered hockky puck.
Chocolate. You'll have your female backup singer.
A French fried hockey stick. I didn't mean to run her off.
Hockey stick.
Chocolate covered.
She's out there laughing.
Very special for today. Get your chocolate covered hockey puck right away.
Only at McDonald's for a limited time. More flavored than most food we have here. Try the chocolate-covered hockey puck today.
I want a chocolate-covered hockey puck.
Chocolate covered hockey.
A chocolate-covered hockey puck.
Baby chocolate.
A French fried hockey stick.
French fries.
And a chocolate-covered hockey puck.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Very special for today. Get your chocolate-covered hockey puck right away. I didn't mean to run you off, Miss Debbie. I'm sorry.
I was just going out in the lobby and hear how it was coming across.
Stan, you got to hire some. You got to hire some female backups here. I'm sorry, Joel. Let him play guitar there, but the female parts you got to leave.
At least you didn't make me do the Jordan Air thing again.
I was going to tell that just then. You stopped. I get up there sometimes and I say, "I'd like to introduce my band to you. Here's my band. Take a bow there, band." And then this is my backup group, the Jordanaire.
The Jordanaire with no S.
Bop, yeah.
So tell me the biggest mess up, foul up ever happened on stage to you. I mean, you know,
I guess that would have been North telling you where my zipper was open that time.
Oh.
You know, sometimes none of the equipment works.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I got on stage one day and there was a radio station coming through our amplifier.
Oh, yeah.
So we switched the amplifiers from the different part of the stage, and so we moved one over there and moved this one over here.
It was a different station.
No, it's the same station on this amplifier. It wouldn't play over there, so we had to move both amps to the other side of the stage.
Sounds like us hooking up our stereo this week.
My second show I ever played, on the first song, the drummer hit the cymbal, and it was a cheap cymbal stand. It turned over and cut our one microphone cord in two. So that I've had those good
There
days.
you go.
Good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Ooh, black and orange stray cats sitting on a fence.
All right now.
Ooh. Hey, Joel and Stan, what's going on? It's Fro Daddy.
I know who that is.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Debbie.
How you doing? You playing tonight, aren't you? B&B Marina, 8 o'clock.
Hell, are you kidding? I played last night. I just woke up and drank coffee.
Oh, well.
Full of convertible as always.
A lot of bull. Yeah, we got more bull tonight at B&B. They named it after us, Bull and Bull.
Yeah.
One thing about Fro Daddy, let me tell you something. He goes and he does a lot of music, but he ain't playing. I'll tell you, he means business.
He's tired after a show. I'll have to admit, you know, I could never jump around that long. I'd have to sit down.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was a dancing fool last night. I'm an old guy, but I'm still getting around. Hey, I was going to tell you that I think I was going to ask Stan and Joel both, who did they think was like the most influential, quote, rockabillyer in the last decade, and there's really not anything. But before that, I loved Brian Setzer when he had the Stray Cats.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, that was rockabilly. You know, that's kind of what turned me on.
That was Joel's, one of his favorites. I never was much into Setzer myself, but Joel liked him.
I saw him a couple of years ago at the Ryman with the whole orchestra and everything. It's really.
I like BR 549 too.
Yeah,
a good group out of Vanderbilt.
Yeah, you're right.
They were a good group.
Hey, but you know what I thought was cool was, you know, this guy's like this greasy, just old trashy guy, probably living in the UK somewhere and on a street corner, and next thing you know, the guys are beating on garbage cans, and now he's leading an orchestra.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just rotten tooth, and I mean, it's crazy, but I love that. We used to play some of their songs, but anyway, I just thought that was kind of cool because now there's really not anybody. You know, everybody just kind of copies everybody else.
You ever heard of Junior Brown?
Oh, I love Junior.
I love Junior Brown. Let me tell you.
He's a strange character.
He is.
He showed up he did Nightfall, which is like Chattanooga's big premiere, live music thing on Fridays, and he just showed up by himself. The bass player got drunk and missed the show, and he didn't even have a drummer, and then the place was mad because they paid for a 3-piece band or something. So he just turned around and told the guys that was the opening act, he goes, "You boys stay?" And they were like, "I guess." And he just started playing like you're talking about Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
So that way they had to pay him, and they were mad.
Well, I saw him at Riverbend. I believe it was last year. He does a really great show.
He's just hilarious. I mean, just his songs are funny, But I'll let you guys go. I just wanted to call in and get my cheap plug for us. Hey, the weather's supposed to break. Everybody come out to B&B tonight. It's covered anyway. If it does rain, it doesn't matter. But it's kind of cool outside there at B&B in Charleston. Just can't miss it.
8 o'clock?
Yeah, 8 o'clock to midnight or so. Probably go a little later if there's people there. And bring your boats, bring your rain gear, bring your canoes, bring your ponchos, your chimneys.
Bring your woman.
And they've got cold Budweisers up there if anybody gets thirsty for a beer. And
well, I'm going to try to make it out there if I can get up that way.
Yeah, they got really good food. And they got.
Then I'll be there.
Ron, they've got the best potato skins. If you like potato skins, they've got these crazy. I don't know how they make them, but the stuff is inside the potato, and then they cook it, and it's kind of. Yeah, you know me. I watch what I eat.
I do too.
As it goes in.
And
as it goes in.
That way I don't miss my mouth.
I almost went blind a couple of times, but I watched.
Anyway, hey, I'll let you guys go. Good.
All righty, Fro. Thanks for calling.
Take it easy, Fro.
I said, Ron and Debbie, I don't know if y'all remember. I know Stan and Joel do that. One of the first, within 2 or 3 weeks after I started there on the show, the very first live thing we had was Joel and Stan came in and we did that tribute to Buddy Holly and those guys because it was the anniversary of their
Yeah,
death.
the 50th anniversary of the playing.
Hey, we'll have to do a repeat of
Hey,
that.
guess what? I've got a picture of that I'm going to put up.
All right.
I actually do.
Hey, I'll see you.
Thanks, Fro.
Good show, and don't forget tonight, B&B Arena.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks,
See you,
buddy.
Fro.
It would be amazing to everybody to be in the studio now, and we're trying to talk about rockabilly, and the ballet Swan Lake is blasting in the background from the folks next door.
That's Swan Lake from the Duck Pond, right?
Yeah, Swan Lake from Ducktown. We'd like to say
Here's where you're
hello
playing.
to.
This is a Whoop shot from Whoop when you played that.
Yeah.
We'd like to say good morning, too, to the class of 1973 from Bradley. I know a lot of folks are in town this weekend for the reunion that's going to be at the Old Woolen Mills tonight.
Right, yeah. Will Moore's going to be there playing sound from the 73s, 72s, 74s. Good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Hey, Ron, this Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Baba Doodle Doo. What's up?
Just enjoying the program this morning. Those fellas are great. Listen, Ron, got one little request here.
Okay.
I wonder if they might play Conway Twitty, Lying Here with Red on My Mind.
I'm lying here with red on my mind. I'm running out of breath. Next to me, my soon-to-be, the one I left behind. And Lord, it's killing me to hear her crying. Yes, I'm lying here with red on my mind.
Now that's a duet there if I ever heard it, boy. I want to tell you.
He better to male parts than them girl parts, though. Yeah. Well, if they know it, we may just play it here.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Well, listen, I'll let you go. I'm going to enjoy some more of your program here this morning, fellas, and I'll see y'all later.
All right, bye-bye.
Take it easy.
That's Bob Cash.
By the way, you talking about, the worst thing ever happened as far as whatever.
Yeah.
I won't call the guy's name because he's a friend of mine, so I won't tell what happened. But just recently, you talk about having a sound difficulty. I don't know who the sound guy was, but apparently he was, he was the milkman they brought in to do sound. And you know who I'm talking about, don't you, Joel?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to tell you, it was just horrible. It was the worst I ever seen.
Are you like Ron when we go places and hear things? He's going, there's just a little bit too much of this or not enough of that. And I'm thinking, just relax and enjoy the show.
Well, when you can't hear the vocals, you go,
yeah.
We watch American Idol, and the whole time he's trying to.
They're pretty good
Trying
on
to
American
remix
Idol.
it, yeah.
Well, I was also on this gig.
That's what I'm saying.
And
It's painful, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, the guy showed up and didn't even have the power cords to even plug this. They spent like a couple hours setting it up, then realized they didn't even have the plugs to plug it in with. That's the kind of situation that we walked into.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite interesting.
Well, now let me ask you: did you ever play on Black Diamond Strings?
Oh, absolutely. That's all it was.
Yeah,
when I was little.
That's what made your fingers.
If I was ever little.
After you played with Black Diamond Strings, you could play on anything.
That's
though.
right.
People just don't realize that. You get
So
them
what
down
was
here.
your first guitar, Stan?
First one I learned to play on was a Stella.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the picture up there earlier of that C2 Martin I used to have. Oh, man.
Now, see, he
That
come
was my
from
first
He
good
came from a
guitar.
musical family.
He probably didn't start with the 2995.
Yeah,
guitar.
most of the people would start down at the Otasco store with a
You go to
1095 guitar.
You go to Cooper's bookstore, but you could actually buy Martins in Cooper bookstore.
really? I didn't know
Yeah. And but that's where you got your Black Diamond Strings, and that's what everybody played.
Yeah, Black Diamond's made in the same factory as barbed wire.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, yeah, it was the lower end of the barbed wire fence company, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, when it's it failed the inspection on the barbed wire, then it
Went over the guitar.
went down to
Oh, they would cut. Oh my goodness, I remember those. And now you
Imagine
play.
this might be red.
Uh-oh.
Good morning, live on Old Town Cleveland.
Good morning. This is Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
I was wondering if there's any way possible to get a copy of that song, Little Old Bomber Me.
Bomb maker.
Yes.
I've got some CDs somewhere.
They'll let you know.
Yeah,
He'll announce it here on
I'll
there.
have to bring you one. I don't have any with me, but I'll bring one down here and leave it with these folks, and then you come by and pick it up. Fair enough?
Well, we have a bomber in the family, so we.
Uh-oh. It's not your daddy, is it?
No.
No, he only shoots lawnmowers.
One of them boys from Boston, was it?
Oh, sake bomb.
Actually, my brother and a couple of guys who are now city police officers built a bomb when they were in high school and detonated it, and got in a little bit of trouble. Now, if they had done it nowadays, they'd be in the penitentiary.
That's right. That's right.
My dad has a theme song, so now my brother can have it.
There you go. There you go. Well, Stan will be glad to help you with that.
Yeah, I'll bring you one.
I did. If you don't know, her dad's George Poe, and I sent him a message this week, and he so badly wanted to come on the show, but he was not going to be able to today. So I'm going to get him on this show here in a few weeks.
Yeah, they're heading to Florida, I think.
Oh, that's just terrible.
Yeah, bless his heart.
Well, we spoke of hot dogs a while ago. If you want a good hot dog with hot sauce, go to Central Park. Is that correct?
Yes.
Aha.
And be sure to vote for Central Park on the Best of Cleveland for best hot dogs and best French fries, and Blue Springs Laundry for your best corn laundry.
There you go.
And then for best DJs, Ron and Debbie Moore from Old Town Cleveland.
Do I get any freebies if I come by and do that?
Well, she might swap you a hot dog for a CD. How's that?
I can do that. Easy.
Yeah, Lisa, we're glad that you called in today.
And I want to tell you one more thing about your show. Last week, I was at Lake Winnie Thursday, and over by the Cannonball, they have a bench with the names and dates of the Dixons who founded that. And I realized that Mr. Dixon passed away in 1933, so it's amazing that place endured since the founder passed away, about 8 or 9 years ago.
Well, and I saw it recognized as being it's a pretty big business, and it's all the major stockholders there are women out of that same family, so they know how to promote a thing or two.
So, well, I guess his wife just jumped in and ran the thing.
Yes.
She outlived him by about 20 years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but great listening to you today, and
thank you.
I'll be waiting on that CD.
All righty.
They got it.
Bye-bye.
See, you're done revised.
Wow.
Is that it? You revisited.
Well, like I said,
relieved.
I'll trade CDs for hot dogs. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, I would
No doubt
too.
about that.
I'll write
It's a
a
good
new,
hot dog,
I'll
too.
write a new song.
And I'll tell you, you'll see Ron going through there all the time because that's what his mom's likes
Oh,
at
yeah.
Central Park.
Good morning, you're on Old Town Cleveland. I almost said Central Park hot dogs, but
Ron, I just wanted to tell you that I love that song, and I think I'll just marry old Bobcat.
Oh, my.
oh, well,
Match made in heaven.
I want to be at that ceremony. Yes.
I think I can whoop him, so I'm not afraid of.
Well, now, which side do I get to sit on now? I'm related to Bob over on the other side. Not real close, it's a.
Sit on my side.
Okay. All right, I will.
Are you sure you take this man to bed?
Does yeah, when they ask if anyone has any objections, maybe somebody needs to speak up.
Red, you may want to sign a prenup with him, not about money, but just general.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Thanks, Red.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, y'all made me laugh to my mouth, sir.
Playing shows. I've seen drummers fall off shows and break
Well,
strings.
I think your drummer one night the stool went off the back of the
Oh
stage.
yeah,
with
he
him.
was playing and he
all
got
of a sudden
too-
he just disappeared.
the back of the
I've
stool
done
got
that, yeah.
close to the riser, and then boom, he was gone. We look back and he's just gone. We're going.
Where'd he go?
And I won't tell you where we were playing over in Polk County, but we were playing over there, and about every 2 minutes the power went off, and all you heard was we were playing along, then all you hear was boom, 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 the drum player, and
At least he was going, it's still going.
and he's saying, well, why aren't you just playing, So, and of course, John Cook, who's listening today, John, Pro talked about we don't jump around on stage. It was on our contract that John and I couldn't jump around on stage because we damaged things.
Well,
We were
John
big
came
guys.
running up when they were going to run up and pick up their instruments and start playing, and John tripped and fell and rolled across the stage, picked up his guitar and started playing.
Well, drummer went 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, call your live.
Hey,
Hey.
I know that song, The Little Bomb Maker.
Uh huh.
I heard that on the radio back when I was like 5 years old.
Probably so.
Boy, you must be getting old there, lady.
I know.
You better be nice or it ain't gonna be good at home.
And what's really weird, I heard the song when I was like 5, listened to it, and of course it stuck in my mind. Years go by, I grow up, I meet the guy, and end up marrying him.
There you go.
That's my better half.
Well,
And Joel's been playing the guitar since before he walked. He would crawl and drag that guitar.
That's right.
that's all right. What now? Do you have any stories that you can tell?
No, she has no stories that she can tell. No.
Well, some of Joel's first words were, right, Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to sing Elvis.
Finally finished the phrase to "That's all right, Mama." But yeah, they've been playing. Joel's been playing like, oh God, like I said before he could walk.
Yep.
So being married to a musician's a strange thing, isn't it?
It can be very strange.
But you love it, don't you?
Don't ask her a direct question.
What was your name again, ma'am?
So
Okay, what song do you want them to play for you today?
Uh-oh.
Okay. If Stan doesn't know my favorite song, then he's in trouble.
Uh-oh. He can barely remember his name today. He may be in trouble. What is it?
We're in trouble.
I can't remember how it starts. And what's the first line, Joel?
Here we go again.
Rock and Roll Lullaby. You know that song.
Hey, thanks for calling. He's going to play that for you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Say yeah, 12, baby.
Go ahead.
Anyway, it's Rock and Roll Lullaby, but I can't remember how it starts.
She was just...
Yeah. On the key. She was just 16 when I came to be. Oh, we grew up together. My mama, child, and me. She'll kill me for not remembering. It's a B.J. Thomas song. And she talk about... Now, she's not a fan of mine, but she's a fan of B.J. Thomas. That rock and roll lullaby. And she sings, shine na 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 na, it'll be alright. Shine na 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 na, just hold on tight. Got me again. Mama. And you still came through. Rock and roll lullaby. All right, baby, I'll learn the song.
B.J. Thomas.
At least
you knew what it was.
At least I knew what it was.
Right.
So I'm not in that much.
You get a B. You get a B at least instead of
B
an A.
flat, yeah.
B.
She's going to make you practice that song is what it is.
But at least I got it.
There you go. I thought, oh, no, he doesn't remember the song.
Yeah, that's one I won't forget.
All right. Do you know a song that you can remember that you'd like to play for us going on? Joel, help us.
Well, you want to sing one? You want me to sing one?
I don't know.
Go ahead, Joel. You sing one.
Oh, okay.
Don't let him in on what it is until you start.
All right. Well, I'll do this one because it's well, this one I
sing it, Ronnie.
Yeah. Well, I recorded this one for my album here, but it's one my dad wrote years ago. So
you got 1 minute. Do it.
Yeah, no, we're good.
You ready? Not long ago, I took a little trip up to New York City. People that treat me so fine. Met a little girl there who broke my mind. She is what I think about when I think about my New York time. Rode that great dog up from Tupelo, Mississippi. Had to find out about the happenings in the big town. Where I met her made me feel fine. She is what I think about when I think about my New York time. New York is a big, big town. Too big for a small town boy like me. That won't stop me from wishing I had my New York woman beside me. Rode a great dog up from Tupelo, Mississippi. Had to find out about the happenings of the big town. Where I met her made me feel fine. She is what I think about when I think about my New York time. New York is a big, big town. Too big for a small town boy.
Paybacks are hell.
Yeah, so, I got a Jordan there now. Long ago, I took a little trip up to New York City. People that treat me so fine. Met a little girl there, wrote my mind. She is what I think about when I think about my New York Times. Oh, yes,
Extra,
she is.
extra.
She is what I think about when I think about my New York Times.
Extra, extra. New York Times. Extra, extra. New York Times. Bye, y'all.
We have a good time. Look, we got a caller
Hey,
on
go
the
ahead,
line.
caller.
Hey, this is Ella again.
Yeah.
I want to tell you about my sisters. Both of them are sick.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And one of them, they had to take the tube out because she had the stroke. My sister up in Kingston. Her name is Jean.
Oh, bless her heart.
We're sorry, Miss Ellen.
And Ruth, my sister Ruth once had 30 surgeries. She has cancer in her stomach and 3 places. So I need you all to pray for her.
Okay, Miss Ella. Thanks, honey. Thanks for letting us know. We hope everything gets better. Bye-bye. Well, guys, it has been the most enjoyable show.
Do you have any closing comments over there?
Stan does, but he can't remember what they are.
That was
For
good,
that, I
Dad.
won't show you a business card I got there. That's not an original, unfortunately. That's a reproduction, but that's a reproduction of an official business card from 1955. That's Buddy and Bob, Buddy Holly and Bob Montgomery.
Wow.
Hey, good morning, live on Old Town Cleveland.
Hey, it's me again. I've enjoyed every bit of it.
Well, good.
It's been a wonderful day for me.
Well, great.
Good for you. Thank you.
Love y'all.
Thanks for being a listener. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Guys, it really has been fun, and maybe we can do that Buddy Holly show sometimes. You guys can come in,
that's
and
great.
we would love that. We would love that, and we loved y'all being here with us today.
Joel, you got any final comments? Good to see you back around Whoop Radio again.
yeah, thank you.
Joel and Stan Beaver.
Yeah, Stan in the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. We had a star in here. Joel, thank you for coming.
You know it's a star because he twinkles.
Well, as always, folks,
It's been fun.
We try to end the show by saying these things: is get those old pictures from out from under the bed, out of those shoe boxes, out of the closet. Get some names on them. Share them with people. Because we'll always know about Pearl Harbor, but we may not know what happened in your family or on your street or in your neighborhood. Right now, I'm looking for pictures of the inside of the Cherokee Hotel. I've got outside pictures, and I don't have any pictures of the Princess Theater anywhere, inside, outside, anything. So someone has some pictures like that.
I found a couple of the outside I have somewhere.
Well, I'd like to see those.
Princess.
Yeah,
We have to be careful because you'll Google Princess Theater and it's not ours
Some of
because
the-
that was a national chain.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm sure Miss Haney has some. We just have to chase her
it's
down.
up to you folks to save this history here. We'll do our part, but start writing them down and, get out those recorders, your cameras. Take if you haven't talked to your grandfather, your father, Joel, you need to stand on tape and talking about his times, and because someday he won't be here, I won't be here, and right now nobody writes anything down anymore. It's all on text or on computers, and it's the phone. Your pictures are not printed anymore, so history's going to start disappearing. We really need you folks. Hey, next week, folks, we'll see you here on Old Town Cleveland. Hurry back.
Y'all
You are listening to WOOP LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. Whoop FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Check into